Okay, so what have we got here? Mr. Lim had a total of 540 long and short rulers. After selling an equal number of both types, he had 1/3 of the long rulers and 1/6 of the short rulers left. And we're asked, what was the total number of rulers left? We should have a question mark here, shouldn't we? There we go. Right, let's have a look. Now, hopefully someone tackling this will have had some experience with bar models already. Now we'll see that we've got two types of rulers, long and short. So we're going to have a bar for long rulers and we're going to have a bar for the short rulers. And if we've had a little bit of experience, I think the bit that we'll be attracted to is the fact that here it says after selling an equal number of both types. And that would be, for me, the obvious place to start when drawing a bar model, because we like to have equal parts of things, don't we? So let's start there. We're going to draw a bar. Okay, so that represents the long rulers, and I'm going to draw a bar that's supposed to represent the equal quantity of short rulers. And what I'm drawing here is what was sold. And this is where, and it's one of those questions where you're going to have to be just really careful of what you've drawn and what's happening. So there's a timeline, things happen. So let's try and follow this. So this is what was sold, okay, on both sides. I'll make it really obvious here. Okay, equal number sold. But what we're after is what was left, yes? Okay, so after selling an equal number of both types, he had 1/3 of the long rulers and 1/6 of the short ones left. That's what I'm going to add on here. That means that we can mark what was sold. Let's have a look. This is what I mean. So for the long rulers, okay, we have left and sold. So for the long rulers, he had 1/3 of the long rulers left. So 1/3, that means he must have sold 2/3. Okay, and for the short, he had 1/6 of the short ones left. Therefore, he must have sold 5/6. Okay, so let's have a look. Let's mark this on here. So for the long, we have sold 2/3. Okay, so this represents 2/3 of the long rulers, and this represents 5/6 of the short rulers. Okay, where does that leave us? Well, so if this represents 5 parts of the total number of short rulers. So what I'm going to do is divide this. I'm going to just try and do that by eye. I'm trying to replicate having plain paper. You don't have any sort of squared paper. So I know it's not perfect, but this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal parts. What would this be divided into? I'm going to use a different colour. Right, I'm going to do a more obvious different colour. There we go. Now this should be 2 parts. I'm going to imagine that's halfway. Now that's fine. That's representing 2/3, and that's representing 5/6. But I know from my experience that I want to have equal parts across the 2 bars. Now, hopefully you would notice that you've got sort of one part that sits in the middle here, and this is dividing this into half. So you would hopefully see that if we went down here, we would be dividing these parts into 2 equal parts. Does that make sense? So I've divided so I need to divide this. And I have subdivided this now into these equal parts. I want to do the same here. So I'm going to, let's use the same colors, and then we can see that it's what we're doing. Now, obviously, if you knew more of a more experienced mathematician would be, I mean, as I said, what I mean is the learner, not me, would be, finding the lowest common denominator of the thirds and the sixths here. But this is how drawing the model is showing us what we can do. Okay, so we now have equal parts. This part is equal to this part. All of these parts are equal, and we like that in bar models, don't we? And again, just to use the colors, what I'm going to do is make sure that we can see. All right, so this is 1/3, and this is that second third when we're referring to this model. And here we've got these are those sixths when referring to the short rulers. Okay, right, so where does that leave us? Well, if 2/3 were sold and 1/3 is left, then we need to draw another one of these, don't we? Which is going to have, how many of these parts are in one of these thirds? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is the 1/3 that's left. Okay, and what have we got here? This is, remember, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 6 parts. There's 2 of our new parts in one of these fifths. So we're going to draw 2, and there we go. So this is the 1/6 that's left. And these, of course, this is our question mark, isn't it? We can write that in. This is the question mark here. Okay, right, what do we have? Well, let's go back here. We haven't included this bit of information yet, because now we have drawn the whole model, and we were told that there were 540 long and short rulers altogether. So that's the value, or that's the number of rulers represented by this entire model, 540. We can now calculate the value of each of these parts. So what have we got? Well, we've got 2, 4, sorry, let me keep track of where I am. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. We've got 27 equal parts. So if we divide 540, if we divide that by 27, we're going to find out what's the value of each of these parts, how many rulers are represented by each of these parts. Hopefully anyone tackling this might notice that 27 and 54 are both in the 9 times table, that being 3 times 9, that being 6 times 9. So it's probably pretty easy to see that 540 divided by 27 is going to give us 20. So each of these parts represents 20 rulers. Okay, we don't have to write this all in, but as I've started, I'll finish. Okay, and this is the bit that we're interested in, isn't it? So we need to count how many parts are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have 20 times 7, and that will give us the answer of 140 rulers. Okay, we can just go and check what was the total number of rulers. It wasn't how many long rulers left or short rulers left, it's the total number, and that's what we've calculated. So that is our final answer.